This hungry college student accidentally built a $200 million empire. So this guy, Seth Berkowitz, was in college back in 2003, and one night he was craving cookies. Nice, warm cookies. But there was a problem. He didn't have a car, and nobody delivered cookies that late. So he took matters into his own hands. He baked a batch himself. He tried it, and they were pretty dang good. And he figured other students probably craved the same thing late at night. So he started selling them. At first, it was a simple side hustle. He would take orders, bake these cookies in his tiny dorm kitchen, and deliver them himself around campus until 2 a.m. Baby, word spread pretty fast. By 2004, he had so many orders that he had to rent out a real kitchen, hire some help, and turn this into a full-on business. And let me tell you, business was absolutely booming. And what started as a small campus gig turned into something he could have never imagined. By 2018, his company, Insomnia Cookies, had over 260 locations across the United States, Canada, and the UK. That same year, Krispy Kreme bought a majority stake in that company for around $140 million. And today, Insomnia Cookies is worth over $200 million. And this started all because this dude wanted a snack back in 2003. That's absolutely insane. It was supposed to be a regular Easter egg hunt. Colorful eggs, kids running around, but for some reason that year it went completely off the rails. This was some years back. The school threw an Easter egg hunt, and the whole community showed up. Dozens of kids in the field, baskets in their hand. And then there's the parents. Stick with me, sweetie, I know where they put the gold ones. Don't just stand there, go right there, under the bench. They weren't just cheering them on, they were coaching them. They were controlling the situation. Some parents are diving through bushes. Oh, I see one, get back. One dad grabs 5 eggs and gives them to his kid. Hey yo, that was my kid's egg, you saw us going for that. Oh, shut your mouth, your kid's a loser. Then it pops off. Moms are throwing themselves across the grass. Dads are squaring up. Yeah? Come on, man, what's on this? You got, man? What you got, huh? Oh, It got so bad that by the end, 5 people were injured and one of them had to be airlifted by a helicopter to the nearest hospital. Thankfully, nobody died. But from that year on, the school had a strict rule that the Easter egg hunts were only for the kids. That makes perfect sense to me. This guy said that when he was a kid, his mom had this crazy punishment for whenever he talked back to them or used inappropriate language. Hey, I said no Minecraft till you're done with your homework. Homework is dumb, Mom. This is bullshit. Whenever something like that happened, she would force him to smell the dog's breath. Get your dog? Mom, no.
I said get your dog.
Rufus, come here, buddy. Come here, Rufus. I'm just gonna hold your mouth open for a second, okay? Smell it. Smell it. What did you eat today, man? The pepperoni pizza's been eaten. How is that possible? It started with pizza. On pizza days, this cafeteria made only like 30 slices of pepperoni pizza. And when it was gone, it was gone. No backup, no mercy. And there was this one kid, let's call him Darren. He lived for that pizza. Yo, I live for that pizza. He would sprint to lunch every single pizza day just to make sure he gets it. Oh, yes. But one pizza day, he got to lunch a little late. And when he got to the front of the line, it's gone? Oh, man. Just cheese left. He was mad, but he held it in. The next pizza day, he left for lunch even earlier. He was jogging to the cafeteria, practically. I'm gonna get it this time. And again, gone. 2 pizza days in a row, gone before he even got there. On the next pizza day, just as the lunch bell was ringing, the fire alarm went off. The whole school evacuated. They were pretty sure it was a standard fire drill. It took about 30 minutes to clear. All right, single file line, everybody out of the school. Just a drill. Come on. Now, like I said, this happened right before lunch even started. But when they came back in, the lunch ladies noticed that somebody ate the pepperoni pizza. How is that possible? The pepperoni tray was supposed to be sealed. The full pan, it was half gone. Well, they were obviously super curious as to where this pizza went, so they checked the cameras. Darren, in the cafeteria alone, helping himself to a tray of pepperoni while the entire school was outside. The footage had a timestamp, 12:02. That's 2 minutes after the fire alarm went off. He was suspended on the spot, and there were rumors about legal charges. But nobody knows what really happened because the kid actually never came back to that school. All we know is Darren got his pizza. But at what cost? This is awesome. This person said that when he was in high school, he was applying to colleges, and there was one college that he really wanted to go to. So he was at his counselor's office, and they were talking about this. Yeah, so I really want to go to that school, Steven, and I think I can do it. Steven, you're not getting into the school, man. Steven was pissed. He went to the principal's office and told the principal the situation. Yeah, so Mr. Johnson just completely, disregarded me and shut me down, so that there's no way I'm getting into that school. Well, Steven, he has a point. I mean, look at the school and look at you. Apply to a state school, come, just go. This made Steven even more mad. So what did he do? He went home. He sat down at his computer and he began writing his college essay. He went to town. He was writing. He was thinking. His brainstorm. Thoughts were just spurting out of everywhere. He was done. He sent it off to that school that he really wanted to go to, and he waited. Well, time passed, and suddenly there was a big packet in his mailbox. He goes inside and he opens it. Accepted. I got in. I got in. He got into the school. Oh my God, he was so freaking excited. Well, turns out this school was way too much money and he could not afford it, so he ended up not going to school, but he made copies of the acceptance letter and he taped it to the door of his counselor and the principal. One for you. One for you. 3 businesses kids ran in their school. One, at this person's middle school, there was a kid that sold dumb lollipops. Well, this kid would just carry them around in a shopping bag at school and sell them for $0.25 each. He kept that business going for a pretty long time and he made like $200. Not bad for a kid. Number 2, this high school made homemade cookies. She would bring them to school and charge people $1 a cookie. Yes, business was booming. People loved these cookies. Apparently, she was a pretty good baker, but the school didn't like this, so they said that she could not sell cookies to people anymore. But these cookies were so dang good that they found a loophole. Students would give her money for no reason, and then she, the next day, would give them cookies for no reason. Feel me? And she kept that business going throughout her entire high school career. And lastly, at this one elementary school, there was a kid that wanted to make a couple extra dollars for ice cream. So one morning, she went into her grandma's bedroom and stole a bunch of her grandma's jewelry. She took that jewelry to school, and during recess that day on the playground, she would sell her grandma's jewelry. Now, obviously, these kids didn't have a lot of money. So, for example, she sold her grandma's engagement ring for 50 cents. Eventually, these teachers saw what was going on and put a stop to this immediately. They tried to get back all of this grandma's jewelry. Obviously, the grandma wasn't too happy, but that kid had quite the entrepreneurial spirit. Gotta respect the hustle. When this kid was in middle school, he would make these things all the time. They were called paper wasps. These folded pieces of paper you put in a rubber band and you shoot them at people. Well, this kid would occasionally sneak up on his friends and attack them with his paper wasps. And yes, they hurt very bad. But nobody ever got back at him because for some reason, his paper wasps were far superior than anybody else's. So this kid got an idea. He started making tons and tons of paper wasps. His secret in making his paper wasps was using the right amount of paper. And after it was done and folded, he would staple the tip. The staple was used solely to increase pain on impact. Well, business was absolutely booming. The kid was pretty much an arms dealer at his school. Eventually, because of his business, full-blown battles were happening throughout the school day every single day. He was eventually shut down, but in total, he made over $400. This teacher is the absolute worst. At this one middle school, in math class one year, there was this very awful teacher. She would scream at her students, refuse to answer any questions, and she would act very aggressive at very small things, kind of like she had anger issues. Well, one day in this math class, they were going over the answers to a math packet. And one girl in this class, let's call her Tina, flipped to the next page a little too early. Well, somehow, from all the way across the room, the teacher noticed this and she stormed over. Are you in a rush, Tina? Because if so, you can take your stuff and you can leave. She smacked her hand on Tina's desk and Tina was horrified. She started packing her stuff, getting ready to leave. Well, apparently, Tina wasn't fast enough because the teacher grabbed her by the arm, shoved her out of the classroom into the hallway, and slammed the door. And stay out there! After class, her friends found Tina crying in the hallway. And so, when they got to the next class, which was PE, they told one of the coaches, and the coach did not like to hear this. You said, what happened? All right, well, you guys just hang out here, okay? I'll be back. After PE, everybody that was in that math class was brought into the dean's office, and one by one they were questioned. And just before Thanksgiving break, that horrible, awful teacher was fired. That's karma for you. This kid roasted his teacher. So this one kid's school, there was this teacher who always tried to be the cool teacher, but ended up embarrassing himself a lot. You know, he would crack jokes, roast students, act like he was one of the kids. Most times, students just ignored it. But then one day, this happened. Okay, class, we're gonna start the review for the test on Friday, but I'll be sure to explain it slowly so Liam can understand it. What? Oh, come on, man, you gotta fight back. Hit me with something, show me your personality. Maybe then you'll pass the test. Liam just sighs, leans back in his chair and says, "All right, Mr. Thomas. You asked for it. Why don't you finally admit that this is not the life you wanted? Maybe that's why your wife left you, your kids hate you, and you're stuck here trying to impress a bunch of 14-year-olds you mayonnaise-loving Get it together. When this kid was 10 years old, he was at the grocery store with his mom. He was messing around in the candy aisle when he decided to steal some gum. He thought to himself, I'm a criminal mastermind. When him and his mom got to the checkout, his mom paid for everything except the pack of gum in her son's pocket. As soon as they walked outside, he pulled out the gum and started chewing it. His mom turned around. Where did you get that? Well, instead of admitting he stole it, he panicked and he said, That man gave it to me and he told me to get in his car. That man? The man was standing by the front of the store. The mom turned around and stormed to the store's entrance. She saw one of the store's employees. Excuse me, this man right here gave my son candy and told him to get in his car. What? Him? Wait, what? Wait, no, I didn't. We need to call security now. You stay there. What? I didn't do anything. Within minutes, store employees were calling the police. This man was in hot water, but he didn't do anything wrong. The kid just stood there watching, chewing his gum.
Hands behind your back. I said hands behind your back.
There's always that one kid in school that would do anything. Not for money or clout, just because. Well, at this school, there was one kid, and he would do whatever anyone dared him to do. Slap a kid with a piece of pizza? All right. Take a dump in the urinal? I got you. Stand up on a lunch table in the middle of lunch and dump a chocolate milk on his head while he's screaming? He didn't just do it, he committed. People started testing him to see where the line was. I dare you to eat this ladybug, okay? I dare you to toss a spoonful of yogurt on the principal. That's easy. Yeah, there wasn't a line. He would do anything. But here's the weird part. In class, he was completely normal. Yo, what was the homework from yesterday? What was that small package he gave us? It's actually due tomorrow, but super easy. The last question's a trick question though, so be careful. But yeah, you guys should be fine. Let me know if you have any questions. Cool. Well, he didn't have any social media, no Instagram, no TikTok, no Snapchat. So after graduation, he disappeared. Nobody has seen him or heard from him ever since. When this kid was in middle school, he bought a shoe customization kit, and he was skilled enough to design stuff like this on people's shoes. Well, he decided to start a business. He charged kids $10 for him to customize their shoes. But more and more people started getting interested in this, and business started booming. So he raised his price to $50 per customization. Things were going great. He was running this business for 3 months, until one day the vice principal walked in on him in the bathroom designing some shoes. The vice principal saw him and told him that he had to ask the principal if he could continue. Well, the principal said, yeah, for sure, keep going. And he did. He continued this business for 7 months. But then one day, a school board official was visiting the school, and the school board official caught him in the bathroom as well. He was then shut down completely. In total, he made about $11,000. That's insane. The worst Christmas gifts ever. When this girl was 15 years old, she really wanted a dog. And her parents knew it because she was always asking them if they could get one. Well, one Christmas morning, after most of the presents were unwrapped, her parents went downstairs to grab one last gift for her. Oh my gosh, I wonder what this is. Her parents then came upstairs carrying a giant box with holes in it, almost as if there was a living creature inside. Okay, are you ready? Oh my god, I think I know what this is. Convinced there was a live puppy inside this Swiss cheese looking box, she unwrapped it, super excited to meet her new pet. But as she opened the box, she saw a stuffed animal dog that when you squeezed its paw, it barked. What is this? You said you wanted a dog. Why would you put holes in the box? I hate you. She broke up with her boyfriend, and then this happened. This woman broke up with her boyfriend because he was always putting her through tests to test her loyalty. One example being he would have one of his friends text her to try to get her to cheat. She never did, but he began doing this so much and she was tired of it. You know what, Steven? I can't do this anymore, okay? We are done. I'm breaking up with you. Fine, if that's what you really want. It is. Well, a few weeks later, somebody called her and told her that her ex-boyfriend died in a horrible car accident. Oh my god. Oh. The person that shared the news with her also sent her information, the date and the time of his funeral. But she felt so guilty because she had just broken up with him. She couldn't bring herself to talk to his parents or to attend the funeral. Well, the day after the funeral, she got a text from her ex-boyfriend, the one that died. Yeah, he wasn't dead at all. He just faked his own death to see how she would react. Interesting facts that'll blow your top off. In 1859, Thomas Austin ordered 24 English rabbits to be sent to his home in Australia. There really weren't any rabbits in Australia before this, but he wanted to release these rabbits onto his property so he could hunt them. Well, this was a horrible idea. Because of this, by the 1920s, Australia's rabbit population surpassed 10 billion. In 1923, a jockey named Frank Hayes was racing on his horse. Well, mid-race, he suffered a heart attack and died, but he somehow remained on top of his horse. His horse then crossed the finish line in first place. Crazy part is, before that day, Frank had never won a race in his entire life. Astronauts who have stayed in space for long periods of time have said that when they come home for months after, they still drop objects mid-air, expecting them to float. Obviously, they don't. The nastiest things people have done. The person who shared the story used to work at Walmart, and one day she was working the customer service desk when a woman came up. Excuse me, I want to return a pair of shoes. The soles are kind of messed up. Yeah, can I see them please? Yeah, sure. She then took the shoes right off of her feet and put them on the counter, and the Walmart employees said they smelled terrible. Okay, let me just look these up in my system, please. The funny part is, Walmart didn't sell those shoes anymore. In fact, we haven't sold these in 5 years. So yeah, I can't return them for you. The woman did not understand why she couldn't return her nasty old shoes, and she was escorted out of the Walmart after screaming at the manager. Pictures that prove just how small we are. Mount Fuji, photographed by somebody in a small town. Look how gigantic it is. This has got to be the biggest bed in the world. Look how small she is compared to it. If I had a house big enough, I would definitely buy this. This extinct ancient centipede that was taller than a human man. Could you imagine if these things still existed today? This here is the largest heart in the world, and it belonged to a whale. This actually blows my mind. Really quick, this app lets you erase anything from the picture. If you want it, get it right here. And last but not least, this long winding fire escape that would make me sick if I ever had to use it. Creepy underwater pictures that might give you nightmares. While this person was diving, they found this garden gnome and the statue of a lady. That water looks pretty dark too. I'd be out of there super quick. These divers found a statue of a shark. It looks like it was from some sort of amusement park ride. Still, super creepy. Somebody snapped a photo of this guy sitting on a ledge over what looks to be a deep, dark abyss. I definitely couldn't do that. This airplane that's completely submerged underwater. Real quick, this app lets you erase anything from the picture. If you want it, get it right here. And last but not least, this Google Earth image of this car in a pond. People didn't know this at the time, but in that car is a skeleton of a man who was missing since 1997. Okay, listen to this. At this school, the water bottles in the cafeteria were sold for $3, but they were small and always warm. The only other option was the water fountains in the hallways, and those were absolutely disgusting.
Oh my god, it's green? That's disgusting.
The spouts were green, the water came out warm, and every time it tasted like pennies. That's when this dude named Ryan showed up with a plan. One day, he walks into school with a giant cooler bag and 2 of those big water jugs that were used to refill bottles.
Cold water, 50 cents to fill your bottle.
Well, turns out most kids didn't have a water bottle. So what Ryan did was he stopped charging people to fill their waters and instead sold reusable water bottles himself for $3 each. The second you bought a water bottle, you were in the system and you could get your water filled. Pretty soon, Ryan set up at lunch with 4 water jugs in this giant cooler bag, and he's refilling everybody's water bottle. Kids, teachers, everybody. People were skipping the nasty water fountains and going straight for Ryan's ice-cold filtered water. And months later, by the time the school had actually replaced the water fountains with nicer ones, Ryan had made $400. And the entire school was carrying around the water bottles that he sold. What a genius. You gotta respect the hustle. This Spanish teacher had a rule. If you forget your pencil, you would have to borrow one from her supply cup and pay her back with a brand new one the next day. But she would always make sure to embarrass you because of it. Well, 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 look who's unprepared again today. Little baby Kyle boy. All right, here, you can have a pencil, but bring me back a new one. Okay?
What is wrong with you?
Well, this kid named Marcus shows up to school one day with a bag full of sharpened, brand new pencils. And he would sell them. One pencil, 50 cents. No need to pay the teacher back with a brand new pencil the next day, and no public shaming, so that's kind of a win. Pretty soon it's not just the Spanish class he is selling to. He made little flyers and he passed them around the school, and pretty soon people were texting him, ordering pencils. Whenever they forgot one, he was the guy they would go to. Just 50 cents. Well, it got popular. Business was booming, so he upped his game a little bit. He had a premium package with the highest quality mechanical pencils you could imagine. He bought them in bulk, so they were pretty cheap, and he would charge $2 per mechanical pencil. And people were buying those as well. He was selling out every time. Eventually, Marcus had an incredibly loyal customer base and a bunch of single-dollar bills in a shoebox under his bed. You gotta respect Marcus, and you gotta respect the hustle. One day in history class, this teacher just frickin' lost it. He'd been on edge all week about kids' backpacks being in the aisles. He kept tripping over them. If I see one more backpack sticking out, we're gonna have a freaking problem. Well, the next day, he sees one. He stops teaching and says this. All right, every one of you, backpacks in front of my desk right now. People are confused, but they start dragging him up and leaving their backpacks in front of his desk. Then he stands up, goes to the first backpack, unzips it, and then dumps the entire thing on the floor. Books, homework, snacks all fall out into this one messy pile. Yo, dude, that's my stuff. What are you doing? Shut your mouth. And one by one, he goes down the line, dumping out everybody's stuff into the same pile. Hey, what are you doing? You think I'm kidding? You think this is some frickin' joke? By the end, there's a mountain of student stuff covering half the classroom floor. Some kid takes a picture. Parents start calling the school before the day is even over. And the next morning, there's a substitute in his seat. Apparently, that was the last straw. And that teacher was fired. Hey, that's kind of messed up. At this school, swimming class was mandatory. Twice a week, full swimsuit, no excuses. This was also in the 80s. Well, then bomb threats started to happen. And they were always during fourth period. Every time students were getting their suits on for swim class, the alarm would go off. Whole school evacuated, the cops would show up, dogs would come in sniffing around, and it kept happening at the same time every single week for like a month. Some teachers thought it was an actual threat. The principal was panicking, nobody knew what to do, but it was just one kid doing this. He didn't want to swim. He couldn't swim. He hated swimming. I don't know. So every swim day, he would leave school campus, walk down the street to the gas station, use the gas station payphone to call the school, and call in a fake bomb threat. Like no voice changer, it was his normal voice, and he would just say,
Yeah, there's a bomb at the school. You should probably check on that.
He was caught, suspended for 2 weeks, and had to retake swimming class that summer. And that is the craziest way anyone has ever skipped gym class. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a subscriber submission. At this person's middle school, the lunchroom never served any sides with any of their meals. So if they were serving hot dogs, it was just a hot dog. Burgers, it was just the burgers. Pizza, just the pizza. Well, the kids at the school thought this was bogus. Every good lunch needs a side. So this guy had a brilliant idea. Every morning before school, he would heat up a bunch of French fries in his air fryer. And I'm talking a lot of French fries. He would then put them in an insulated pack so they stayed warm. And at lunch, he would sell them to other students. It was an immediate hit. Business was, you know what I'm gonna say, booming. On average, he was making $100 a day. This went on for weeks. You can imagine how much money he was making. One day, the school found out what he was doing. But they didn't shut it down. They were impressed. So they gave him his own stand to run during lunch, where he would sell the fries that he made. All in all, he had made over $10,000. I'm addicted to making money at school, and one morning, I had an idea. On my bike ride to school, I stopped into the local Target, and I bought a bunch of packs of socks. Then at school that day, I waited until it was gym class. I didn't go to class. Instead, when gym class was over, I waited outside the doors of the locker room as the students came in to change into their normal clothes. Well, I cracked open the door a little bit and I peeked. Once all of their shoes were off and they were only in their socks, I poured a bucket of water on the floor, getting everybody's socks soaking wet. I got my brand new packet of socks, then I went in. What's wrong, guys? I don't know, man. A bunch of water came in here. All of our socks are soaking wet. This sucks. Oh, man, that's really unfortunate. I don't even know what I'm gonna do now. This is gonna suck for the rest of the day. I actually have brand new socks right here in this duffel bag. Thanks, dude. Yeah, I'll take some socks.
Yeah, me too.
And want some socks too.
Oh, not so fast, men. It's $2 per sock. $2 for a pair of socks? Oh, no. I think you heard me wrong. $2 per sock. $4 per pair. Yeah, no, I'm not paying that. Enjoy the rest of the day with your squishy sock feet. Wait. Here's 4. That's what I thought. Today's gonna be a good day. He opened his lunch, looked inside, and oh God, he was starving. He missed breakfast this day. He had a packed lunch and he couldn't wait for his lunch period. He'd been counting down all morning. Well, it's finally his lunch. He sits down, he opens his lunch bag, and what? Yeah, first thing he sees, a container of cold chicken and sauerkraut. Next to it was a weird mustard packet, like one of those from the deli, a Ziploc full of cherry tomatoes, and a boiled egg, just loose, in the lunch bag, floating around. No salt, no napkin, nothing. What? Are you good, homie? I grabbed my dad's lunch. He packs it up, he doesn't eat, doesn't say a word for the rest of lunch. Carries the bag with him all day, and then after school, he goes home, and he walks into his kitchen. Dad, what even is this? Ah, it's my lunch. Yeah, I was wondering why I had yours. Dude, it's nasty. It smells like vinegar, and there's just an egg in there, loose. Hey, that's a good egg. No, Dad, that's a sad egg. A very sad egg. And from that day forward, he made sure to triple check his lunches every morning before school. Honestly, I think that dad's lunch didn't sound too bad. Myself. It started stupidly small. He's in his yard and he sees a single crow staring at him. What's up, crow? And he went inside and got a cracker, then tossed this one crow a cracker. Well, that's it. That's the moment his life changed forever. Because the next morning, there's 3 crows waiting. Yo, there's 3 of you now. All right, here, 3 crackers. The next morning, there's 9 crows. Oh my God. A full-on crowd of crows waiting for their daily crackers every single morning. And it doesn't just stop there. If he walks to his car, they follow him. If he walks his dog, they're behind him, flying over, hopping on the sidewalk. Every so often, they would drop gifts to him, like a shiny gum wrapper, or a twig, or an apple core, like gifts. Oh, thank you for the Slim Jim. I appreciate it. Then he realizes he's the leader of the crows. Every day they're there. They think of him like their mother. And he can't even take the trash out without crows surrounding him like Secret Service. It's absolutely insane. The weirdest interactions of all time. When this kid was 8 years old, his mom took him to her friend's house because she had a son who was 8 years old as well. His mom wanted them to hang out while her and her friend had a chat. Well, things were going fine for a few minutes until the kid said, "Hey, check this out." The kid then pulled his pants down and took a poop on the floor. But that wasn't all. The dog came up to the poop, sniffed it, ate it, and then threw the poop up back on the carpet. He said this moment has stuck with him for years, and he will never forget it. This man never took his kids to a baseball game, and the reason why is actually very sad. This is Frank Goldsmith. He was a young passenger on the Titanic, and he survived the sinking. Well, years later, he ended up living right next to a baseball stadium in Detroit, Michigan. He said he hated game days. Why? Because he said every time the crowd cheered, the sound reminded him of the screams that came from the dying passengers as the Titanic sank. As a result of this trauma and the noise from the crowds, he never took his kids to a baseball game. Crazy things people did as kids. When this guy was in elementary school, he was hanging out at his grandparents' house with a friend from school. His grandparents had a ton of horses that roamed around the property, and there was an apple tree right by where the horses liked to hang out. Well, this day, him and his friend climbed to the top of the apple tree and started throwing apples on the ground, trying to get the horses to come up and eat the apples. Well, one horse did. Oh my God, look, the horse came. He came. I'm gonna jump on his back. Do it, do it. Well, that startled the horse, and the horse took off running. Steven? Steven? The horse hopped over the fence and ran deep into the woods until they could no longer be seen anymore. He told his grandparents what had happened, and they didn't find the horse or this kid's friend for 5 hours. Weirdest things people did as kids. When this guy was about 6 years old, he had learned that dogs peed on things to mark their territory. Well, his family had just moved to a new house, and the second they walked up to the front door, he peed on it. Kyle, what are you doing? This is our house now. I'm making sure everyone knows this is our territory. What do you mean? Get in the house right now. Why are you mad, Mom? You should be thanking me. Get in the house right now. Ungrateful woman. He truly did not understand why his mom was mad. He thought that peeing on the house was the nicest thing he could possibly do for her. He later learned how incredibly weird it is for humans to pee on things to mark their territory. And from then on, he left that business for the dogs. Hi, my name's Elliot, and a couple months ago I started posting a series called The Pineapple Chronicles. And they did really well, and people liked them a lot. However, I am stupid. Because I took a break from posting them. Because I am stupid and I don't care. I promise you that they... Help me.
It's time to finish what we started.
Alright, doctor, just tell me straight up, how much longer do I have? Well, according to your test results, I'm sorry to say you have about 10 to live. Oh my god, 10 years. 9, 8, 7. Wait, what's happening? What do you mean? What do you mean? 5, 4, 3. Oh my god. I'm just kidding. I am totally messing with you. You had me there for a second. You had me there. No, but seriously, you have like 3 months left. Craziest things that happened at school. Her high school was trying to prevent any and all senior pranks. Well, the senior class was like, what can we do? And they had a brilliant idea. They weren't really gonna plan a prank, but they were gonna freak the school officials out. One day, all 650 seniors each carried their own banana around with them throughout the entire school day.
Okay, we got a problem. Have you guys seen all the bananas?
Yeah, what is going on?
It's a prank. I know it is. I'm making an announcement right now. Attention school, every single student that has a banana needs to eat it right now or throw it away.
Eventually, the school had confiscated every single person's banana. The next day, all 650 seniors brought in a gallon jug of water.
Oh my god, now the water bottles? This is getting bad.
And once again, the school officials confiscated anyone who was still carrying a gallon of water. Well, this backfired pretty badly. The students started tweeting, and the news stations picked it up. Needless to say, the seniors' anti-prank worked. The worst Christmas gifts ever. One Christmas morning, this kid was sitting by the tree with his parents, and he was opening up a gift. He got Cards Against Humanity. I heard about this. It was the card game Cards Against Humanity. I'm sure most of you know what that is. Now, he wasn't too hyped about this gift, but he had heard a few things about it, and he was excited to play it. But then his parents said this, okay, yeah, but there's one rule with that gift. You cannot play it until you're 18 years old, okay? Dad, I'm only 15. I know, so you can play that game in 3 years. Why would they even give him a gift like that if they weren't gonna let him play it for 3 years? That's absolutely crazy. Weirdest breakups ever. In high school, this girl wanted to break up with her boyfriend, but she didn't know how to do it. So one day, she was hanging out with her friend. I just don't know what to say. I don't really want to talk to him in person. It's gonna be so awkward. I have an amazing idea. Hold on, pose for me, pose. Perfect. Now we're gonna post this to your Instagram. Okay. And as the caption, put, I love being single. He'll definitely get the hint. Oh my god, you're a freaking genius. And it's posted. But when her boyfriend saw it, he did not get the hint. Oh my god, he texted me. I love Pringles? Who even says that? Just text him something back. You have to end this now. Okay, I sent it. Yeah, bro, no, it was definitely autocorrect. She meant to say I love Pringles. It's... happens all the time. Hold on, she just texted me.
এই কি করবি চেনা চেহারা না হলো কি চেহারা কথা তুলে চেহারা ওজন দিচ্ছি
আপনি না শুই না দেখা সব জানা ফেলছেন বাবা
রক্ত লাগবে রে
রক্ত
আসবো না মানে
হ্যাঁ তাই তো শুনলাম
আসবো না ঠিক আছে দেখতেছি ব্যাপারটা যাও
কি রে তুই কোচিং এ যাস না কেন?
দোস্ত আমি কোচিং এ কিভাবে যাব বল? এই গুন্ডাটা যে আমাকে ডিস্টার্ব করে তুই দেখতেই তো পারছস, ডেইলি আমার পিছনে লাগে থাকে।
আমার ভালোবাসার গল্পটা অপূর্ণ রয়ে গেল গলবে পাখির মন গলবে এমন মন্ত্র দেব
এভাবে রাস্তাঘাটে একটা মেয়েকে উত্ত্যক্ত করে নিজের গায়ে রক্ত দিয়ে
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয় আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা?
যে কোচিং এর সামনে যে গুন্ডাটা দাঁড়িয়ে থাকে আমার তো মনে হয় পড়াশোনা সব বন্ধ করে দিবে।
আমি তোর প্রেমের গল্প সাকসেসফুল আমার কথা বিশ্বাস কর।
আমি শুধু একটু প্রেম ভালোবাসা চাই, আমি শুধু ওরেই চাই বাবা, আমি শুধু ওরে পাইলে হবে।
ওকে, আমি আপনাকে ভালোবাসি। আচ্ছা, আপনার কাছে একটা প্রশ্ন। আমার তো অনেক ভয় লাগতেছে দোস্ত, এই যে আস্তে আস্তে সব মানুষ জানবে, তারপর আমার ফ্যামিলিকেও জানাই দেবে, আর আমার
এন্ড বেস্ট অফ লাক ফর ডক্টরশিপ। আমি দোয়া করি তুমি যেন একজন ভালো ডক্টর হও।
কি রে মাম্মা, কই রে তুই? কতক্ষণ ধরে দাঁড়ায় থাকবো? কনসার্ট তো শুরু হয়ে যাবো।
তাইলে তো বন্ধু রিত লেগে গেল। আরে বেটা এত লাফাইস না, যেরকম শুনতেছি পরীর মতো এরকম করলে তো বেটা যা
পারলে তো ভালো।
দেখা যাক কি করে শালা।
বোবা, হ্যাঁ কথা বলতে পারো না?
বিয়ান সাহেব, আসসালামু আলাইকুম বিয়ান সাহেব।
এক্সকিউজ মি,
বলে দিবেন যে আমার বন্ধুর সাথে যেন ভালোভাবে প্রেম করে, নাইলে কিন্তু ঝামেলা আছে। যেদিকে তাকাই তোমায় দেখতে পাই, কিচ্ছু ভালো লাগে না।
বন্ধু, তুই যদি রক্ত দেস?
ভালো লাগে না রে দোস্ত।
না দুলা ভাই, আমি তো কোচিং এ যাই নাই, আমার তো বাসায় গেস্ট আসছে, আর আমার আম্মু তো একা, এজন্য আমি যাই না।
আমার পড়াশোনা সবকিছু বন্ধ করে দিবে, তখন আমি কি করব?
আরে ছাইরা দে।
সবে ইন্টার সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে পড়ি।
সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে এখন ক্লাস 9 এর পোলাবেন প্রেম করে।
মামা মায়া তো অস্থির। এক্সকিউজ মি আপু, এক্সকিউজ মি, আপনার নামটা যদি বলতেন একটু।
শুনেন বেঞ্চ সাহেব, আমার বন্ধু দিশান, ঠিক আছে? আপনার বান্ধবীরে শুনুন। মারি নাই তো, শাসন করছি। ভালো লাগে না, একটু মারতেই পারি, তাহলে কিন্তু খুব খারাপ হয়ে যাচ্ছে। তুই রবিল নামে সুন্দর রিক্সা ডাক।
ভাবি কি আমার বন্ধু দিশান দিচ্ছে, প্লিজ ভাবি আপনি একটু নেন প্লিজ ভাবি। দেখেন ভাবি
বন্ধু ধরে না,
আবার কল দেখ।
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয় আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা?
যে কোচিং এর সামনে যে গুন্ডাটা দাঁড়িয়ে থাকে আমার তো মনে হয় পড়াশোনা সব বন্ধ করে দিবে।
আমি তোর প্রেমের গল্প সাকসেসফুল আমার কথা বিশ্বাস কর।
আমি শুধু একটু প্রেম ভালোবাসা চাই, আমি শুধু ওরেই চাই বাবা, আমি শুধু ওরে পাইলে হবে।
ওকে, আমি আপনাকে ভালোবাসি। আচ্ছা, আপনার কাছে একটা প্রশ্ন।